The trunk lid was cracked open just enough for a sliver of sunlight to glint off something inside. Among the grocery sacks sat a small tan handbag, my daughter Clara's. I'd know that worn leather anywhere. A sudden, icy dread clamped around my heart. "Pull over, Ruth, now!" I barked at my younger sister behind the wheel. Ruth shot me a worried glance. "Eleanor, are you ill?" At 73, I'd learned to trust those gut punches. This one felt like a fist. Ruth eased the sedan onto the dusty shoulder of Highway 19, gravel crunching under the tires. That stop saved our lives, because inside Clara's bag was proof she'd already signed our death warrants. We'd spent 4 days in the city, bank errands, doctor visits, a little window shopping Ruth and I rarely indulged in back home. The drive back was supposed to be easy. Oldies on the radio, golden wheat fields rolling by. An hour in, I shifted to stretch my stiff neck and spotted the bag wedged between the rear seat and the trunk opening. Clara had popped by our hotel the night before, all smiles and hugs, helping load our haul. "Drive safe, Mom. This stretch gets dicey after dark," she'd said. Why did those words now feel like a threat? "Ruth, that's Clara's purse." She peeked in the mirror. "Must have left it. We'll drop it off tonight." "No, I need it now." Something in my voice made Ruth hunt for a wider spot to stop. I unbuckled, twisted, and snagged the strap just as the car jerked to a halt. The bag landed heavy in my lap. Too heavy. I unzipped it with shaking fingers. Lipstick, tissues, compact. Then a silk-wrapped lump. Inside, a cheap flip phone. Not Clara's sleek smartphone. A burner. It buzzed. Messages flooded the screen. I opened the chat labeled J. "They just passed mile 22. Brake set for mile 49 curve. 380K debt gone the second the wheel clears." My breath stopped. Ruth leaned over, read, and went white. "Eleanor, she's trying to kill us." But the brakes hadn't failed yet, and mile 49 was only 12 miles ahead. What would you do if your own child had already paid a mechanic to make sure you never saw mile 50? The burner kept pinging. "Confirm. Fluid injected. Undetectable corrosion. Fire after impact erases traces." Ruth gripped the wheel. "We call the police." "Not yet." My voice sounded foreign, calm, surgical. "If Clara panics, evidence vanishes. We need the car inspected first." Ruth spotted a sign, "Toby's Auto, 3 miles." Toby was an old classmate of her late husband. If anyone could be trusted, it was him. We limped the sedan into the dusty lot. Toby, grease up to his elbows, squinted at our pale faces. Brakes acting up? Someone tampered with them, I said. Document everything. He raised an eyebrow, but rolled the car onto the lift. 10 minutes later, he returned with a jar of murky fluid and a grim face. Special acid eating the lines from inside. Another 10 miles, maybe 12, and you'd have 0 stopping power. Planned for that sharp drop at mile 49, I'd wager. Exactly where Clara wanted us. Toby photographed every corroded fitting, bagged fluid samples, sealed the car in his locked bay. Police next, he urged. Soon, I promised. First, I need them to think they've won. Ruth and I borrowed Toby's dented pickup and headed home, away from the cliff, away from Clara's perfect accident. The burner buzzed again. Clara, Mom called, found purse, swears she only saw my old phone. Jay, her husband, Jake. She's clueless. Old ladies don't snoop apps. Plan holds. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. My daughter thought age made me stupid. She was about to learn how sharp 73 could be. That night, I walked into Clara's house smiling, purse in hand, ready to return her forgotten bag and set the trap that would either save my life or end it. Clara opened her door, looking like she hadn't slept in days. Mom, it's late. Brought your purse, sweetheart. Didn't want you worrying. I handed it over, watching her fingers tremble as they brushed the silk-wrapped burner. Jake appeared behind her, smile tight. Eleanor, come in. I stepped inside the house I'd helped them buy, noting every detail. Family photos, plush couch, the lie of domestic bliss. Clara set the purse on the entry table, body angled to shield it while she checked the phone. Car okay after that noise on the road? Jake asked, too casually. Strange rattle, I lied. A strange kinder helped. Haven't had it looked at yet. Their shared glance was microscopic but electric. Relief mixed with confusion. The brakes should have failed by now. I hugged Clara goodbye. Love you. See you soon. Walking to the truck, I felt the weight of the recording app already running in my coat pocket. Phase 1. Convince them I suspected nothing. Phase 2 was already in motion with my attorney, Diane. Next morning, Diane rewrote my will. Everything to a new foundation for elder financial abuse victims. Liquid assets moved to accounts Clara had never seen. Documents dated, signed, locked in Diane's safe. If I died, Clara inherited nothing. Now the hard part, Diane said. You want a confession on tape? I smiled the coldest smile of my life. Invite them to dinner. I'll serve her childhood favorite and the truth. Saturday, 7 p.m. The table is set. The stew simmers. and 2 hidden recorders wait beneath the linen cloth. One wrong word from Clara or Jake, and their perfect plan becomes their prison sentence. Clara and Jake arrived with a bottle of expensive Cabernet, probably bought with inheritance money they assumed was already theirs. I hugged them both, felt Clara's stiffness, Jake's too firm grip. Ruth served appetizers while I steered small talk, weather, neighborhood gossip. Over stew, I dropped the first pebble. Then thinking about the future. At my age, one plans. Saw Diane this week. Updated the will, accounts, everything. Clara's spoon froze halfway to her mouth. You changed the will? Just tidying legal loose ends. You've been so curious about deeds and balances lately. I wanted to be thorough. Jake's jaw twitched. Clara only wants you protected, Eleanor. From what? I asked softly. From a car whose brakes mysteriously fail at mile 49? Silence detonated. Clara's chair scraped backward. That's absurd. I slid the burner phone across the table. Then explain every message. The acid in the lines, the $380K debt, the cliff. All of it, Clara. Jake lunged for the phone. I was faster, palming it. Ruth stepped from the kitchen, phone in hand, live streaming to Diane's secure cloud. Jake's hand closed around a steak knife. One swing and the recording would capture attempted murder in real time, or I'd be dead before dessert. Everyone sit, Jake growled, blade steady. We negotiate. Clara sobbed. Mom, we were desperate. The loan sharks. Desperate enough to murder me? My voice cut like glass. I'd have helped Clara, like always. Jake's eyes flicked to corners, hunting cameras. I'd installed one visible, high on the wall, enough to sell the bluff. 4 cameras, I lied smoothly. Cloud backup. Keep talking, Jake. Tell the jury how you killed your own mother the same way. The knife wavered. Clara collapsed. You knew about his mom? Every detail. Same curve, same acid, same quick inheritance. Jake's face crumpled. The mask slipped. We just needed time. Time you planned to buy with my corpse. I dialed 911 on the backup phone in my pocket, speaker on. Attempted murder in progress, 1427 Oak Lane. Sirens wailed within minutes. Handcuffs snapped on Clara's wrist as she begged, Mom, they'll kill us in prison. Would her final plea crack the ice around my heart or harden it forever? The trial lasted 9 days. Prosecutors played the dinner recording, Clara's voice clear. Why wait till you die naturally? Toby's photos of the corroded brake lines filled the screen. Reopened files on Jake's mother sealed his second murder charge. Clara took the stand, mascara streaked, claiming duress. The jury didn't buy it. Verdicts. Clara, 20 years. Jake, 35. 3 unopened letters from Clara sit in my desk. Some wounds need more than 6 months to scar. 1 year later, A fourth envelope arrives. This time, my fingers hesitate over the seal because the return address isn't the prison. It's a hospital.
Clara is dying. Complications from an assault inside. Retaliation from the loan sharks network. She has weeks, maybe days. She begs to see me. Ruth drives me to the prison infirmary. Clara lies small in the bed, tubes in her arms, eyes sunken but clear. I'm sorry, Mom, for everything. I sit. The room smells of antiseptic and regret. I forgave the girl I thought you were, the woman who chose murder. I'm still learning how. She cries. I hold her hand until the monitor flatlines. At the funeral, a man in a cheap suit slips me an envelope. Inside, a flash drive labeled insurance. Clara's final confession, recorded in secret, naming every loan shark who ordered the hit that failed on the highway. Do I hand it to the police and ignite a war, or burn it and let the past finally rest?
I choose the garden. The flash drive sinks into the koi pond, bubbles rising like tiny ghosts. Some truths belong to the earth. My foundation has helped 17 women escape financial predators. Ruth and I drink tea under the jasmine, watching goldfinches bathe. At 74, I am alive, solvent, and unafraid. The roses Clara once loved bloom without her name on the will. Some storms you survive by running. Some you survive by becoming the thunder.